Welcome to CIT180 HTML and CSS Programming. I am your instructor, Lisa Ballback. At the top of the course, you should see my office phone number, my email, my on-campus office number, in addition to a link to my LinkedIn profile where you can see more of my background. So if you come through here, actually this part should expand. And then if you scroll down, you can see all of the different jobs that I had and different certifications I have, all of that fun stuff. Then over on the right, we have our course banner. We have buttons that take you to useful sites. The sites are not required, but I do think you will find them quite handy. Below that, we have links to the CIT department social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We post job opportunities and events at these various sites. News and announcements from your instructor. This is how I communicate to you as a group. If there's something that everybody needs to know, I post it there. Typically, when I'm done correcting assignments for a week, I will also post that so you know to go look at the grade book. Student questions and answers are it's a forum for you guys to post questions to each other. Okay, so if you have like a general question that isn't really about the course or course content, feel free to use this to post to each other. I don't typically go in and answer these questions. So if you have a question for me, then it's better to email the question. If I think that other people may have the same question or issue, I will actually post an announcement if it's a problem. Right now, I just have the first lesson block open, but near the end of our first week, I will open up lesson 2, may also open up lesson 3. I just don't like to overwhelm people at the start of a semester. You will notice that the lessons have topics, and then after the topics, there's a date range. So this is the date you should be working on the lesson. And you'll see that the next lesson is going to open up, and it's probably going to say 9/3 through whatever the following Monday is. Most of our weeks are going to go from a Monday to a Monday. This first week is a little unusual because it starts on a Saturday. And because of Labor Day, it's a little bit longer than a normal week. So it starts Saturday the 24th, and it's actually ending on Tuesday. So after the first week, it's pretty much going to go Monday to Monday, with assignments being due on Monday night. The coding resources and PD opportunities is optional. It's just a place where you can go to check out resources. I also put several PDF books in here if you wanted to download them and take a look. Nothing in coding resources is required. Then we get into lesson 1. And for all of the lesson blocks, you will notice that the last day that we're working on that particular lesson is the day that they are due. So for the first one, as I mentioned, because Labor Day is September 2nd, your assignments are due on Tuesday, September 3rd. And so at the top, it's always going to tell you when things are due. And then below that are the activities that you need to complete. And so the first week is actually a little bit longer than a week. It looks like we have a lot to complete, but a lot of this is housekeeping things, and it's not going to take you very long. So looking through what you need to complete, hopefully you're watching this video. And then you're going to read the welcome message. It's fairly short. It just kind of explains again how the course is organized, what the expectations are, that type of thing. You definitely should read through the syllabus and the assignment schedule. The college syllabus is the same for all classes at NMC. So if you've looked at it for another class, you don't really need to look at it for this class because it's the exact same. As far as our course syllabus goes, at the top is that same contact information that you see in Moodle with my office number, my campus office hours, and my online office hours. If none of these work for you, you can also schedule an appointment if you need help. Please keep in mind that the office phone, the only time I'm really going to answer that is when I'm sitting in my office hours. And if I am working with a student on a problem, or if I've stepped away, I might not answer the phone. So please leave a message and I can call you back. My email, this is a great way to get a hold of me because I check email every day and I check it on the weekends. If you have a problem with a web page, you will need to transfer it to the internet, and you will be learning how to do that next week. So you need to transfer the page, and then you can just send me a little email that you're having a problem with it so I can take a look. The course description matches what is in the college catalog, and it's a pretty broad description of what you're going to learn in this class. As far as materials that you need, we do have a book. It is a reference book. So that means that the information in it is pretty general. That is why, in addition to the book, we have lecture notes, because the lecture notes kind of drill down some of those topics and explain them in a lot more detail. And there are also links to interactive activities where you can actually practice what you learn, and that will help you learn it better. You need a connection to the internet. Okay, this is an online class, plus we're doing web pages, so the connection is critical. And then as far as the required software goes, you need a web editor. We use VS Code, and there is a link in the course so you can download it. It is free. If you have another web editor that you prefer, it doesn't matter to me what web editor you use, because I'm not really teaching the editor. But keep in mind that all of the video demos are going to be shown using VS Code. For FTP, and FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol. So for FTP, we are using FileZilla, which is a free program, and it is cross-platform, which means that you can use it on Macs and PCs. The program is free, and we will be transferring pages to the web next week. It is not something that you need to worry about this week. All you're going to need to do this week is download and install the software. As far as the web browsers go, you do need to check your pages on multiple web browsers. So Chrome, Firefox, Microsoft Edge are really important that you have those three. If you have a Mac, you can also test on Safari. And another one that is good to test on is Opera. As far as web hosts, you do not need to worry about obtaining a web host because I have my own domain and I will create accounts for you. So while you're a student at NMC, you can pretty much use the account that I'm setting up for you. But once you are no longer taking our classes, you will need to then find your own host. The USB flash drive is optional. I would recommend that any student who's going to work on campus using the campus computers bring a USB to save your pages to. Okay, but if you're going to be working on your own laptop, or if you're at home working on a desktop, then I wouldn't worry about a USB. So learning outcomes are basically general objectives of the course. So this kind of outlines what you're going to be learning and how that will be assessed. Okay, so when you're asked to basically describe the design process, that typically is done through a discussion. If you're asked to use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to develop a website, that's typically done in an assignment. Okay, so all of these learning outcomes are addressed in the course, and we assess them in a couple different ways. We also assess critical thinking in this class, and the way we do that is we use a standardized test called the Test of Everyday Reasoning with Numeracy. So after a few weeks, that test will be available to you, and I do award points for taking that test. You only have to take it one time for one class for the entire year. And for my students, as long as you've taken it that one time, if you have multiple classes with me, you're going to basically rake in the points, because I'm going to give you points in each class. And all you have to do is take it one time. So I will be providing more information about this when it is available and you are able to take it. So for right now, just kind of keep in mind that you will be seeing this in the future. Grading and assignment information. Basically, this shows you how the grade is broken down. We do have 1,000 points. 95 to 100% is a 4-point. 90 to 94% is 3.5, and so on. And so for those of you that are concerned that you might be sitting right at the edge between grades. So let's say you've got a 949 in the class. I actually look for you, and anyone that's within 5 points of the higher grade, I do give them the higher grade. So no one is going to miss a higher grade by 1, 2, 3, or 4 points. Now, the way you get points in this class is you do the textbook assignments, lab assignments, you do the final project in the showcase, you do all the discussions. We are going to have an e-portfolio and a GitHub exercise, and you do need to register for Certiport in order to take your MTA. So doing all of these activities are worth points. We also have 1 quiz and 2 exams in this class that are also worth points. Okay, so making sure that you complete all the assignments, projects, discussions, quizzes, exams, that is how you do well in the class. All the assignments have due dates, and the due dates will be at the top of the block. They are also in the course assignment schedule, which we'll look at in a minute. So for most weeks, you're going to have to read a textbook chapter, go through the lecture, and complete the interactive activities, complete the textbook exercises, and those exercises have videos that show you and tell you what to do. And then you're also going to complete lab exercises. The lab exercises are very free format. They tend just to have requirements, and you get to be a little creative in those. Lab exercises don't usually have videos because everybody's is going to look different. Okay, so the textbook exercises are more prescriptive, and those do have videos, okay, because I'm kind of telling you what to do. They are designed for you to learn the skills that are objectives for that particular week. Okay? And then the lab exercises let you practice your skills. We don't have discussion quizzes, exams every week, so they are kind of interspersed in the class. I try to do the discussions, quizzes, and exams in weeks where we don't have as much hands-on work. So I try to kind of even everything out. As far as the textbook chapters go, please pay attention to the pages that you need to read, because we never complete an entire chapter. Okay? In fact, the way that the reference book is set up, it would not be appropriate for you to actually go through an entire chapter, because they've kind of mixed beginning and advanced information all in the same chapter. So kind of important that you pay attention to the pages that you need to read, because I'm always telling you in here which pages you have to read, and those same pages are in the printed schedule. So you're going to definitely want to pay attention to that. So this week we're doing a lot of orientation and startup, which is basically setting up your work environment for doing the web pages that we will start on next week. And I've kind of explained the textbook chapters and the lecture, the textbook assignments, lab assignments. The final project and the project showcase are at the very end of the semester. The showcase is for you to share your final project with others in the class, and you will be indicating why you made design decisions that you implemented in the final project. So there'll be a little discussion of design along with a link to your final project so other people can see it. In our discussion forums, there are a couple discussions where you're also going to share pages and discuss design, because it is fun to see what other people come up with. You all have the same minimum requirements, and they're kind of generic, and everybody implements them a little different. So it's kind of neat to see what other people do. So we have several discussion forums where you're sharing your work with other people. ePortfolio, we use LinkedIn for that. If you have a LinkedIn account, you'll just have to do a couple updates. If you don't have a LinkedIn account, then you'll have to create one. And there's information in the course on how to do that. We also use GitHub in this course. We take your final project and we upload it. Okay, so it's just kind of a little introduction to GitHub. If you do not have a GitHub account, that is not a problem, because you'll create one and they are free. And there's information that explains how to upload your final project. Finally, we are going to need Certiport accounts in this class, because Certiport is the agency that administers the MTA exam. And in order to take the exam, you have to have a Certiport account. So later in the semester, there will be instructions for you to create an account, or if you have an existing account, you just need to log in. So for your exams, they are kind of like unit tests, and they're not going to be the basic true, false, multiple choice. I tried to mimic the types of questions that you will see on your MTA exam. In the past, students have been a little freaked out when they've taken the MTA, because they don't have straight true, false, and multiple choice questions. They have different question types. Moodle is kind of limited as far as the types of questions I can ask, but for question types that are similar to the MTA, I did utilize those in the exams. And as I mentioned, your final exam is the MTA. And passing the exam is worth 100 points. It does not matter how much you pass by. Okay, so if you get a passing score, you will get 100 points. If you do not get a passing score, you will have the opportunity to retake the test. Okay, and If you retake it and pass, awesome, you get 100 points. If you retake it and you don't pass, I take the higher score and I prorate the points. So you will still get points. The MTA is taken at the Parsons Doolin building on the Aero Park campus. So if you don't live in Traverse City, we need to figure out a place for you to take the tests, and I need to know that as soon as possible, because not only do we have to find another testing center, we have to get a testing voucher for you, because the college covers the cost of the test. So you do not need to worry about paying for it. We are doing that for you. If you live in Traverse City, you'll be taking it at the Aero Park campus in the testing center. And again, you don't have to worry about vouchers. Course communication. Email is probably the best way to communicate with me because I'm checking it daily and I also check it on weekends. Make sure you use your NMC email account because we're not supposed to respond to other emails. I will try to answer you within a 24-hour period. If you do not hear back from me, then that usually means that I didn't get your message. Okay, so you may have sent it to the fake student email instead of the instructor email because the instructor emails after the @ sign all have nmc.edu. Student emails after the @ sign have mail.nmc.edu. Instructors do not have mail in their email addresses, and sometimes students accidentally send to the wrong email. So if you don't hear back from me, please email me again. Let's see. I'll let you guys read through Netiquette. This is how to be polite online. It's very important. And let's see. Usually, as far as correcting assignments, it is easier for me to correct them all at the same time. So I typically will do that the day after they are due, usually within 1 or 2 days of the due date. As far as time requirements, keep in mind that a college course, this is a 4-contact course, so that would be 4 hours plus 8 hours outside of class. Now, is it going to take you 12 hours every week to complete things? No. It's going to vary depending on, you know, how quickly you pick up on things and also how quickly you can type, because creating web pages involves typing. And if you're not very fast at typing, or if you do a lot of typos, it's obviously going to take you longer. In this class, because it's online, if you don't submit work for 3 weeks, you could be administratively withdrawn. Now, do I normally do that right away? No. I will start emailing you because if you get behind in this class, it is really hard to catch up. Okay, so usually about halfway through or 2/3 through, if you're behind, you will get a message from me about being administratively dropped. Because if we're 2/3 of the way through and you've only completed a couple weeks, you're not going to be successful. Okay, so the best thing to do is just keep up with the work. If you have something going on in your personal life that is preventing you from turning something in on time, you need to communicate with me. And I'm very good about working with students and helping. And as far as cheating goes, I have had people try to cheat in this class and I always catch them. So just do your own work and it won't be a problem. It does not make my day to catch people cheating. I hate it. So please don't do it. And that is pretty much our syllabus. The schedule is something that you definitely need to print out. Okay, and you'll notice that the information in the schedule kind of mimics what you see here at the top of the block. Okay? And I did that on purpose. So if you print this out, what I would recommend doing as you complete things, just cross them out. Okay? And then you'll know if you've completed everything or not. Okay? And you'll notice that it does tell you the topics we're covering, you know, when the things are due. It also tells you pages that you need to read in your book. Okay? And so you can kind of see, looking ahead, what we're going to be covering. And that gets me to your first assignment. So, because this is an online class, it is nice for you guys to kind of see each other and get to know each other. So you are going to do a student profile. Now, where this is going to show up is in the class spotlight. And you can see I kind of did one here for you. And that is me on vacation. You do need to do like a 1-sentence summary of, you know, who you are. So that is actually not a very easy thing to do. So that's why I did it. So this kind of tells you a little something about me. And then if you have hashtags that describe you, feel free to put those in as well. I think hashtags sometimes tell you more about a person than the sentence. So my hashtags are not a morning person, because I am not. I like vampire hours. And my other hashtag is failure is not an option. So that's kind of like my little motto for life. And what that means to me is that I will work hard, try my hardest to succeed. And I also do that for you. So if you are struggling, I will do everything in my power to help you be a success. Now, how you fill this out. You click on this, the little link, and you're going to add a new entry. Okay, and up here it kind of tells you what to do. So where it says concept, this is where you're going to put your first and last name. Then you're going to insert an image. Oops. I'm going to put a little fake name in here. Insert an image. You're probably going to have to upload it. So you go to upload a file, choose a file. You're going to have to navigate around on your system and find a picture of yourself. Give it a little name, upload it, and then you're going to have to resize it. So all you really have to do is enter the width and let the height automatically adjust. That way it won't look distorted. So 125 pixels or 150 for width is perfect. And I align mine on the top. Okay, so you're going to add your picture. And then below your picture is where you're going to put the little sentence that describes yourself. And if you want to add hashtags or taglines, that's fine. And then once you save, what you're going to notice, okay, is that you will be randomly displayed up here in the spotlight. I have it set up to randomly display students. If you wanted to see everybody's entry, you can click on View All Entries. Okay, but each time you enter, you should see somebody a little different. Okay, so that's the first assignment that is worth points. And the second assignment is introduce yourself to class. So this is going to be a little bit more detailed. You should indicate your name or your nickname, interests or hobbies, your major or program of study. And then if there's additional information you want to share with us, awesome, you can do that. You'll notice I did an example. And I tend to overshare. You certainly do not need to share all of this information. Just share whatever you are comfortable with. Okay, so whatever you're comfortable with is good. Okay, so the discussion and the student profile are worth points. And once you complete those, then you're going to look over the lecture. And this lecture is not interactive, so this is probably the only one that we have that is not an interactive lecture. So you're basically going to read through this. It provides some general information about the internet, web addresses, all of that kind of stuff. This could be review for quite a few of you. And then once you finish that, you're going to do the web development quiz. So this quiz covers the web development lecture and the textbook pages that were assigned. And you can only take the quiz one time, but it is open book and open note, and there is no time limit. Okay, so I fully expect you guys to look things up. If you're going to look things up, you should look in your book and you should look in the lecture. Do not try to Google for the answer, because if you Google for the answer, it is probably going to be wrong. Okay, so the quiz is also worth points. And then once you finish that, all you have left is downloading and installing the software. And the software we are going to use next week. Okay, so this is a link to VS Code. And you can download it, whatever version that corresponds to your operating system. This is a link to FileZilla. Okay, if you don't have Windows, you'll have to pick your platform. And then for web browsers, make sure you do more than one. So Chrome, Firefox, Edge, I highly recommend. You can also do Opera if you have a Windows machine. If you have Safari, or if you have Mac, you can download and install Safari. And then once you have everything downloaded and installed, you are all set for week 2. If you run into any problems, please email me and let me know. And sometime at the end of week 1, before Labor Day, I will send you information on the web accounts for this class. The information that I send you is for you to plug into FileZilla. So the information you just need to keep. It'll come to you through your NMC email. You know, just kind of keep it handy. And then once you've completed web pages in lesson 2, that's where you're going to look at the information, plug it in, and transfer your pages. Okay, so again, I'm not sending that information until the end of lesson 1. I'll probably do it before Labor Day because really up until the end of lesson 1, it's not going to make sense for you to have the information. Okay? People tend to look at the information when they need to use it. Also, at the end of the first week, you will see the lesson 2 block display. So please let me know if you have any questions, problems, concerns. Other than that, have a great first week of class.